Hey team, Chef Eric here, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Butcher's Market Steak of the Month Club. This month we're going to be featuring one of my favorites, the brisket flat. Let's get into the action. So today we're going to be using a Kamado Joe grill. We've got an indirect side and a direct side. Now if you're doing this in your oven, the direct side we're about to do the sear would happen up top on your range, and the indirect side would be after you've deglazed, get your liquid in, and you put it in the oven. So we'll make note of that, just follow with us. Here we go. First thing we've done is stabilized our grill at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I've got an indirect side and a direct side today. We've got a nice enamel cast iron on the direct side heating up. Let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful cut of beef. Again, that is a gorgeous brisket flat, so much leaner than your point. Now, I'm gonna take a little bit of Lane's Barbecue SPG, just some standard salt, pepper, garlic, and we're gonna season that fat cap. Beautiful. And go ahead and be kind of liberal with this because it's going to be seasoning your liquid as well. Let's go ahead and take this over to the grill in our pan with a little bit of oil. And we want to be at smoking point. I can tell the way that that oil is moving that we're going to get a nice little smoky sear here. So let's lay that fat cap side down first. Drag test, yes. Notice how that pan is just large enough to fit the actual cut of beef with some vegetables in there, but we're getting some nice pops, some sizzles. That's what I want to hear. While we've got this other side up there, let's go ahead and season again with the SPG. And you can tell by that sound, by that sizzle, it's not too terribly aggressive. That's going to give me a little bit of time to go ahead and cut the vegetables or the mirepoix, okay? I say mirepoix, don't be intimidated. It's as easy as onions, carrots, and celery, and we're going to kind of cut these to a medium to large dice. And we're gonna add some other aromatics, all right? So I've got some garlic here, we've got some bay leaves, we've got some peppercorns nestled in there, and some fresh rosemary. Now you can use thyme, you can use oregano, you can use whatever you've got growing in your garden or you have access to. We're just gonna put all this stuff conveniently on the plate, okay? Now that we've got all this, we're gonna also take a look at some tomato paste, all right? We wanna cook out the acid. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just wanna tell you how simple this is. Like, we've got a nice little kit going on here. Let's go take a look at our sear. Starting to smell that nice caramelization. I'm continuing to hear the snap, crackle, and pop. Oh yeah, beauty. And look at that crust, that's what we want, all right? There's also a little bit of what we call fond, F-O-N-D, on the bottom of the pan, which is gonna turn into some big, bold flavors here in a minute after we've added our mirepoix and deglaze. Same thing, okay? We want that hot pan to give us a nice sear. We're not worried about overcooking this meat. It's gonna be a 3 to 4 hour braise until it's fork tender. So okay to close that dome again and accept some more of that natural lump charcoal flavor. Oh, the aromas are already working for us. Nice sizzly sear there. I like that salt, pepper, garlic right in there. Bold move here.
Whoa.
Yeah, bold move there. Maybe don't try this at home. Have a plate, you put it on. But look at all that beautiful fond on the bottom, okay? So now we're gonna knock in the carrots, the onion, the celery, the garlic, the rosemary, the bay leaf,
All at one time.
and the peppercorns. You know, a lot of times I'll do the carrots and the celery first because there's a little more fibrous, but they're just getting a little scrapey scrape and then rolling it around. I'm starting to smell the peppercorns. I'm starting to smell the bay leaf. And if it starts to look a little aggressive, you know, you can turn your heat down, or if you're on the grill, you can move it to that semi-indirect side. So probably another 2 minutes of just letting things kind of soften and brown together. I'd like to go heavy on my tomato paste, okay? I want a really rich and flavorful stock, deep colors, and so a lot of tomato paste will get that done for you. You can use it in a can if you like as well, but I find this is just a really fresh product. I like it. And now we stir. We can even take it back to a little more intense heat. We want to get everybody nice and evenly coated. We want a deep, dark, beautiful color. All right, so let's just let this sit for just a second. A lot of folks won't put their peppercorns and their bay leaves and their rosemary in until you put the liquid in, but I'm also smelling those aromatics in the tomato paste, so that's why I really like to do that. Let's grab our red wine and let's deglaze and bring all those flavors up off the bottom to kind of slow that caramelization down a little bit. And notice when I draw that line, it's nice and thick right now, and you can't see anything stuck to the bottom. We see that nice enameled cast iron. Notice how it's tightening up a little bit. We cooked out that red wine just enough. There's some good evaporation. Now we're gonna go in with some beef stock. Now we'll take our beautiful seared brisket flat here and just nestle it right into the center. Oh yeah. Maybe a little more stock just around, just to raise the level, because it's going to reduce a little bit as we're cooking it. And look at these great juices that we garnered here. Don't you dare get rid of those, right? Lid slightly left ajar, not by much. We want a little evaporation and reduction to occur, but not much. Again, 3 to 4 hours. And I'm going to move this back to the indirect side. For those of you doing this inside in the oven, now is the time where we're going to take it to a simmer on the range and then kick it into that 275, 300 degree oven. Again, lid slightly ajar so we can get a little bit of reduction. Let's check back on it in about an hour and a half just to see where our liquid level is. All right, it's been an hour and a half. We're halfway through our cook. Let's take a look at the changes that we see. Oh, I like the looks of that. Okay, so we've got some good evaporation occurring, but not a whole lot of liquid loss. So what that tells me is that we're gonna create more of a gap there for more liquid to evaporate. So eventually, the liquid that's left in this pan when the meat is done and resting is going to be reduced and turned into our glaze. So we want to make sure that our liquid level is going down. We're getting good evaporation. But look how much that meat has tightened up. So again, that is exactly where we want to see this halfway through the cook. I'm not boiling by any means. I like the bubbles. So let's go ahead and put that top back on and give it another hour and a half, and we'll take a look. The Butcher's Market makes it super easy with these heat and eat mashed potatoes that are absolutely delicious. Gonna go perfect with so many meals, including this brisket. Let's just take that plastic top off, put it over the grill, and we're gonna heat them up till they're nice and warm through the center. It's been about 10 minutes at 300 degrees, and those potatoes look spectacular. Creamy, delicious, unbelievable. Let's go ahead and pull those off. Set them aside. Now we'll work our brisket. Cooking time 4 hours in total. Well, let's take a look. One of the tried and true things, I always look at the top. Stunning. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is lovely. And it is just soft to the touch, which is where we want it. That's what that braise does. That heat, the moisture content, just turns all that collagen to gelatin, breaks it down. We're gonna let that rest, scoop some of our beautiful vegetables out, and then reduce the sauce. But go ahead and look at the viscosity here. Like the starch from the vegetables broke down, some of the fats in there. It's not going to take much of a reduction to get this braising liquid to a sauce.
It's reduced a lot.
Yeah, it really has, and that's what we want, right? So everything that was in that pot has just amplified together. So in order to reduce this sauce here on the grill, I'm going to go ahead and drop this grill grate closer to the charcoal. Here in a second, we'll come to a simmer. We'll reduce it down, move it back up, mount the butter. Take a look at these bubbles. Look how it moves in the pan, right? So we're at sauce-like consistency at this point. And just to take it over the top, we're gonna do the old French technique of a monte au beurre, all right? We're gonna mount some butter. I've got some unsalted butter here. And then we're just gonna kind of hold it with the tongs and just kind of whip it in. It's just a great way to finish a sauce. Make it a little bit more robust, well-rounded. Brings a certain sheen to it that it didn't have before. Doesn't even need that much with a sauce like this. We'll let that sauce hang out there and stay warm. 4 hours, not that long to wait for something like this. This is truly remarkable. Oh my gosh. Just slices with ease. Going through that fat cap now. That's what we're looking for. So when smoking brisket, you know, it takes a lot longer. There's a wrap involved. It doesn't come with its own sauce. I see a lot of benefits to this braising. That is truly a stunning dish. Delicious, nutritious, unbelievable. Braised brisket, right? Such a classic combination. So approachable, so fun. Do not be intimidated by brisket flats or brisket in general, right? This is a super exciting way to cook your brisket. And don't forget, if you have leftovers, sky's the limit, right? Omelets, sandwiches, tacos, pastas, so many different ways you could treat this brisket next day even, so it is a larger cut. And don't forget that the Butcher's Market has it in the back. Even if you don't see this year round in the display case, you can always get brisket or brisket flat at the Butcher's Market. So thank you so much for joining us this week. I'm Chef Eric, and again, I look forward to seeing you next month for another exciting episode of the Butcher's Market Steak of the Month.